Good morning, everyone. A couple months ago, Assemblymember Alex Lee of California District 24 came to Kidango for a site visit. I had the honor of joining the tour. We got to the child care center right around morning drop-off, and one little preschooler arrived at the same time. It was the cutest thing. "Bye, Grandma," she said at the door. She took off her jacket, put it in her cubby, then she went straight to the faucet to wash her hands, dried her hands, and sat on the couch for circle time. She was so cheerful and independent. She knew the routine. Clearly, she felt safe. We didn't plan it, but that moment was a perfect example of Kidango. It reminded me why my children went there. It reminded me how much Kidango has helped us heal from what happened to us. Back in 2016, when my son was about 5 months old, I started looking for childcare. My cousin had watched our oldest, but with 2 kids under 2, I knew we needed more support. Every center I called in Oakland was full. Then a coworker told me about home daycare. My husband and I went to see it, and everything seemed fine. We paid cash, all out of pocket. Every day that first week, I called to see how my kids were doing. On Friday, the woman who ran the daycare snapped at me. "I'm not going to be able to answer the phone all the time," she said. I stopped myself from calling on Monday, even though my intuition told me something was wrong. When I got there to pick up my kids, Carlos was lying on the floor. He was very pale. Someone had put a piece of paper on his chest. "What's going on?" I asked. "I needed to make sure he was breathing," the woman said. But no one had called me. I didn't understand. I tried to wake him up and he didn't respond. The rest was a blur. I had to get my baby to the ER. At the hospital, they didn't do any tests. "Just monitor him and bring him back if he doesn't get any better," they said. He didn't get better. For the next 24 hours, he wouldn't take his bottle. He kept throwing up. I told my husband, "We have to go back." That time, I refused to leave before they did a CT scan. When they did, they found bleeding between his skull and his brain. As they were admitting him to the ICU, another doctor found multiple hemorrhages in his eyes. A nurse turned to me. "Your son was shaken," she said. Stayed at the hospital for 2 weeks. After that, we took him back every month to check his development. He would make a full recovery, but we didn't know that at that time. As I got better, I got worse. I had anxiety attacks, hyperventilating, racing thoughts. My full body felt very heavy. I couldn't sleep, couldn't work. I wouldn't let my kids out of my sight. At the same time, my husband was going through his immigration process. We didn't know if he would be able to stay in this country, and every time we interacted with authorities, it brought up a lot of fear. It was a social worker who eventually told me about Kidango. He knew I wasn't ready to send her back to daycare, but he thought I should check it out for now. He said it's like a school. There will be more teachers, more eyes on the kids. Not only that, I would be learning and building relationships. Once she started, I watched how the teachers interacted with her, They also did home visits to get to know our family better. I was shocked by how fast her speech, listening, and motor skills grew. Over a year after the incident, I finally felt comfortable sending her back to daycare, as long as it was Kidango. Once he was enrolled, both he and I met with a Kidango therapist. We made a wellness plan for our whole family. I got more and more involved. I showed up for workshops and to volunteer. Every time the teachers started setting up for a 5 o'clock parent meeting, I would ask, "Hey, what's for dinner?" Because she knew we would stay, and they always had food and games for the kids. One day, the family advocate asked me if I might want to share my story. Kidango was sponsoring a bill in Sacramento to increase access to childcare for infants and toddlers. I was so nervous, like I am today, but I said yes. I still remember the faces of the elected officials, paying close attention to me as I spoke. The bill passed out of committee with a unanimous 8-0 vote, and soon after, it went into law. That was 6 years ago. Today, my kids are straight A kids. They love school. Thank you. They love school. Carlos is in 3rd grade, but he's reading at a 5th grade level. There's no way we would be here without the foundation, the learning, the love we got at Kidango. I speak up all the time now. I'm on policy committees at the school level, the district level, and for Alameda County. A few years ago, Governor Newsom appointed me to the State of California's Early Childhood Policy Council Committee. It's an honor to help fight for families, to speak up for my Latino community, who are oftentimes scared, might be undocumented, or unsure we deserve the resources we do. No family should ever have to experience what we did. But if I can work to prevent it, to get more spots and better programs for kids, to get the word out to more families about where to go, that's what matters the most. That bill I testified for in Sacramento, it's bringing high-quality services to 20,000 more families across the state. And that's just one of the many legislative wins we've had so far. Thank you for standing with Kidango, for pushing alongside us until every child in every community has access to high-quality childcare and preschool. We won't stop until they do. Thank you.